So, okay, Tess, can you hear my voice?
Yes, it's clear, Pak Indrawan.
Okay, okay. So, okay, I think we can start our guest lecture today. So maybe Ilmi will help us to open the guest lecture. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elmina Fiahana Rosa from Agricultural Engineering, and today I will be your MC for today's guest lecturer. And before we start, let me share my screen first. Okay, maybe before we start today's guest lecture, I would like to kindly ask all attendees to fill out the attendance by scanning the QR code first. Okay, so I hope everyone already fill out the presents. So now, before we begin, to start this guest lecture, we will have a welcoming speech from Dr. Muhammad Yusuf Abduh, MT, as the head of the Agrotechnology and Bioproduct Technology Expertise Group at Agricultural Engineering. To Mr. Yusuf Abduh.
Okay, thank you to the Master of Ceremony, Umi. First and foremost, good afternoon to everyone, and of course to Dr. Raji Pushpalatha from the Amrita School for Sustainable Futures, Amritapuri, India. Thank you for your kindness and willingness to be the guest lecturer for today's event, and of course to Dr. Indrawan Cahyo Adilaksono as a lecturer for this course, and to all students, and of course to all other staff members from the Agrotechnology and Bioproduct Technology Research Group. Thank you for attending the second ATB Talk. For your information, ATB Talk is a program initiated by our Agrotechnology and Bioproduct Technology Research Group to foster collaboration with research institutes and universities, and to provide interactive discussion between the lecturers, between researchers, and between all the students, so that we can know what's happening outside of the universities, and so that we can also promote collaboration between the universities. So this is the second ATB Talk. Previously, we had the first ATB Talk with Professor Eric Harris from the University of Groningen, the Netherlands, and now we have the second ATB Talk with Amrita University. Today we are delighted that we have Dr. Raji Pushpalatha from the Amrita University. We hope that this talk will provide a brief and also open up the horizon on the climate smart agriculture and crop modeling. And we hope that from this guest lecture, we can also promote further collaboration between ITB and also with the Amrita University. Last but not least, I hope that this guest lecture will be a very interactive discussion between Dr. Raji and also with Dr. Indrawan and all the students. And I hope that all students can pay attention so that you can also gain as much as knowledge as possible from Dr. Raji. With that, I officially open this ATB Talk and guest lecture. I hope that we'll have a fruitful discussion and look forward for a very good guest lecture. With that, I hand it back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for the welcoming speech. Okay, so before that, allow me to introduce the moderator, and the speaker for today's guest lecture. Wait. Okay, so the moderator for today's session is Mr. Indrawan Cahyo Adilaksono, a lecturer in agricultural engineering from the Agrotechnology and Bioproduct Technology Expertise Group. Next, our guest speaker for this session is Dr. Raji Pushpalatha, an assistant professor from the Amrita School for Sustainable Futures, Amritapuri, India. She previously completed her undergraduate studies at Teknologi in Agricultural Engineering in Kerala Agricultural University in India at 2006, and then her master degrees in Magister Technology in Agricultural System and Management in Indian Institute of Technology at 2008, and then her doctoral studies in Agroparistage France in Hydrology at 2013. Her areas of specialization include stream flow hydrology, climate change on agriculture and water resource, mitigation and adaptation strategies on agriculture and water resource, and food security in rural India. Next, some of her experience include as assistant professor at St. Thomas Institute for Science and Technology, India, and then DST, Women Scientists ICAR, Central Tuber Crops Research Institute in India, and also visiting faculty, Indian Institute of Information Technology, India, and lastly, present assistant professor, Amrita School for Sustainable Futures in India. In addition, some of the achievements she has received include Department of Science and Technology Women Scientist Fellowship, selected for a Best Research Paper Award from ICAR Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, selected for Ujwal Postdoc Fellowship, and lastly, selected for Chief Minister's NAFA Kerala Postdoc Fellowship. That's all for the introduction for the moderator and today's speaker. I will hand the next session to Mr. Indrawan.
Okay, thank you very much for Ilmi for introducing us, Dr. Raji and me. And good afternoon, everyone. For the participant, welcome to ATB Talk, the second ATB Talk, theme the climate smart agriculture and crop modeling. So I'm Indrawan Adilaksono. I'm one of the lecturer in the School of Life Science and Technology, and I will be the moderator for today's guest lecture. So as Dr. Yusuf mentions before, this guest lecture is part of the Agri-Technology and Teknologi Bioproduk Talk series, aiming to bring insight and innovations in agriculture through scientific sharing from experts around the world. We already have done the first series with the Prof. Eric from Groningen University. And we are truly grateful for your presence here today, for students, lecture, and our colleagues in the School of Science and Technology. Thank you very much for your time. And it's my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker today, Dr. Raji Pushpalatha is assistant professor in Amrita School for Sustainable Future and Amritapuri, India. So before we begin, here are a few reminders for the participant. I think that Dr. Raji will have a presentation around 60 to 90 minutes for her lecture. And please do not interrupt during the presentations. And after the lecture, we have a 15 to 20 minutes for Q&A sessions. And for the online presentations, you can type your questions in the chat box in the Q&A sessions. And if the students have a problem with the to ask the question in English, so it's also welcome to ask in Bahasa Indonesia, and I will help to translate your questions to Dr. Raji. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Raji Pushpalatha to begin her lecture. So the screen is your doctor.
Thank you. Thank you for the brief introduction. So I would like to share the screen first. Okay, so I hope the screen is visible now. Is it visible for you?
Yes, it's clear, doctor.
Okay, so I
can
will make
go ahead and have a lecture. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizing team from Amrita Center for International Programs, as well as the team from Bandung University, Indonesia. Thank you. So I'm Dr. Raji. I already provided a brief introduction about my background, so I'm not going into discuss about that. So directly coming to the presentation. So this is a very important topic. We know we all are affected by the frequent occurrence of extreme weather events in terms of flood, drought, and all. So this is directly affecting the agricultural production, then the food and nutrition aspect, as well as the livelihood of the community across the globe. So this is the time that we need to think and we need to shift to sustainable farming practices, focusing with a main focus on the technological adoption. So today I will be presenting about climate smart agriculture and crop modeling. I expect that the students, they are the second year students from agricultural engineering. So today's session will be useful for you because I will be giving a briefing about the crop modeling aspect. So maybe in the upcoming internship or your thesis work and all, you can probably make use of freely available crop models and you can just test the crop production, crop yield, etc. for your own locations. So please make use of that. So with that, I'm just starting the presentation. So this presentation includes three sections. First section, a brief discussion about the climate change, then going to the climate smart agriculture, then to the crop modeling. So we can start with the climate change. So just a second. Okay. So we can just start with the climate change. So in the climate change, the most important point we need to consider is the energy budget, because whatever happening within this energy budget is affecting the climate of the Earth's atmosphere. So I just wanted to give an introduction about this energy budget. I am sure that you already learned this in your school days and all, but still just this is a information to start with the climate change. So we know this incoming solar radiation, whatever the amount of radiation coming from the sun through the atmosphere, it should be reflected back to the space. If there is any imbalance in this energy budget, this affects the climate of the Earth's atmosphere. So from this equation, we can see the amount of incoming solar radiation, that is the summation of reflected solar radiation, then the outgoing long wave radiation, and then the change in Earth's stored energy. So if there is any imbalance happens, this definitely affects our system, climatic system. So from the figure, you can clearly see the incoming radiation, that is in the visible light. So some will be absorbed by the Earth's surface, then this will be emitted back. So while emitting back, some of the long wave radiation, that is coming in the infrared radiation, will be absorbed within the atmosphere. So how this is absorbed? Because there are some gases present in the atmosphere. So what they do, they absorb the emitted back radiations from the Earth's surface. They absorb, then again they emitted back in all directions. So this leads to the warming effect or increase in the temperature. So such molecules or gases, we can call them as greenhouse gases, and you can see these are some of the greenhouse gases leading to the warming effect. And this warming effect, you can call it as a greenhouse effect. So how this is connecting to the climate change is, these greenhouse gases reduce the outgoing long wave radiation, that is the infrared radiation, because they traps by these molecules. So there is an imbalance happens with respect to the outgoing long wave radiation. This imbalance leads to the warming effect, thereby increase in the temperature. This is how this affects the climate of the Earth's atmosphere. So just a briefing about some of the natural reasons as well as the man-made reasons. So we know the man-made reasons. I will just list some of the man-made reasons which is directly leading to the climate change. But still, just I wanted to say one thing. If we are not disturbing the environment, still we experience climate change because of the natural reasons. So what are the some of the natural reasons? It's just an overview, just for your information. Just see, first one is the variations in, just a second, I just wanted to move this. Okay. So first one is the variations in the orbital characteristics. Earth's orbital characteristics, you can point these characteristics as eccentricity, then precision, and then the tilt. These are the three characteristics. So based upon the changes in the eccentricity, just remember the first slide with energy budget, this influences the amount of the incoming radiation, solar radiations to the Earth's atmosphere. So this leads to changes in the climatic condition. And then coming to precision. So precision means, I will explain in the upcoming slide. That means from the figure you can see this with respect to, because this is rotating about its own axis. So each time, based upon the location, the amount of incoming radiation coming from the sun will be changing. So this is about the precision. Similarly, we know the Earth's axis, this is not vertical, there is a tilt, which is in between 21.5 to 24.5 degree. So this 21.5 to 24.5 degree with respect to the position, this also influences the amount of incoming solar radiation. But remember, all these changes, the time scale is thousands of years. So in the precision, you can see how long it will take to leads to the changes in the climatic condition, around 20,000 years of time scale. Eccentricity, we can see around 1 lakh to 4 lakhs years of time scale. Tilt is also about around 40,000 years of time scale. So the changes in the Earth's atmosphere, because of the variations in the orbital characteristics, takes place in very longer time scales, and all these together we can call it as Milankovitch cycle. So this is one of the natural reasons leading to the changes in the climatic conditions. So you can clearly see how the orbit is expanding, the eccentricity is making. So this is basically because of the gravitational pull of the bigger planets, mainly the Jupiter and Saturn. So this eccentricity happens. This causes the shape of Earth's orbit to vary from nearly circular to slightly elliptical in shape. So with respect to this, the amount of incoming solar radiation can change and leads to changes in the climatic conditions. So next point is the tilt. So we can call it as obliquity. So you can see how this is changing from with respect to the vertical axis, how this is changing. With respect to that, there can be changes in the incoming radiation, solar radiations. But this time scale is very longer. Then about the axial precision. So this all about the Milankovitch cycle, that is the natural reasons leading to changes in the climatic conditions of Earth's atmosphere. This is basically because of the tidal forces, which is caused due to the attraction by the gravitational pull by the moon and sun. So probably this, I'm sure that you all watched all the series of this movie, the Ice Age movie. So this Ice Age is basically because of the changes in the Earth's orbital conditions, or you can call because of the Milankovitch cycles. So next natural reason leading to climate change is variations in the solar activity. So you can see some dark spots on the surface. So this dark spots indicates the activity. The sun is more active. That means we will be getting more energy compared to the normal situation. So this can lead to minor warming effect on the Earth's surface. And this happens, the studies indicating that this happens roughly around every 11 years a time scale. Okay, so if there is a less spots, means a less activity, and this can leads to the cooling effect also, like a localized cooling effects. I can show you one example which happened in Europe. We call it as a little ice age. This was because of the variations in the sun's energy. And this is reported by the IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. In their third assessment report, we can see the description about this. So this is another natural reason for climate change, that is the variations in sun's energy. And next natural reason leading to climate change is the volcanic eruptions. So the volcanic eruptions, which releases a lots of gases and ashes into the atmosphere, they will go into the troposphere, as well as sometimes it can go till the stratosphere. So the presence of gases and molecules based upon their chemical characteristics, this leads to, or this blocks the incoming solar radiation into the Earth's atmosphere and can lead to cooling effect. So this is the graph The study indicates that in 1990, Mount Pinatubo, the volcanic eruption happened, and this influenced the global level temperature. So in this graph, you can see the x-axis denotes the time scale 1980 to 2000, and y-axis indicates the magnitude, change in the global mean temperature. So the graph, usually if you observe, you can see an increasing tendency, but during this particular period, when this volcanic eruption happened, you can see there is a slight decline in the temperature, which is marked in the black color. So the study is indicating that there is a decline in global mean temperature by 0.5 degree Celsius. So this volcanic eruption, that is another natural reason leading to the changes in the Earth's climatic conditions. Then human influences, anthropogenic reasons for climate change. I am not giving any explanations for that. I just wanted to give only this picture because this will explains how this is affecting the atmosphere or climatic conditions, our industrialization, then the burning, then the waste disposal. So this also leads to the generation of methane and other greenhouse gases, and then definitely transportation. So all these leads are our contributions to changes in the Earth's climate. But remember, if we are not contributing, still the climate will be changing, but the time scale will be very long, like in the Milankovitch cycle. Okay. So I just wanted to give a briefing about the projections also, climate parameters, the future projections. So this is an intergovernmental panel on climate change, IPCC. So based on their latest report, so here they categorized the emissions into different scenarios. So you can see the picture because this is very easy to explain. That's why I included. So you can see from this picture, you can see the representation RCP 2.6, then RCP 4.5, then to RCP 8.5. RCP is the representative concentration pathway. That is the emission. We are going to limit the emissions to 2.6 watts per meter square if we go with these options. This is just a representation for your understanding. Okay. Then if we are depending on more on public transportation and all, there will be low emission. That's what we are expecting, 2.6 watts per meter square. Otherwise, here you can see medium emission, 4.5 watts per meter square. Then to extreme emission situation. So in the IPCC report, you can see these different emission scenarios, and on different emission scenarios, the researchers, they estimated how much is the increase in the temperature, Earth's atmospheric temperature. If we are going with a very low emission scenario, we can expect an increase to 1 degree Celsius. Medium means 1.8, and if it is extreme, we can expect an increase of 3.7 degrees Celsius in the far future. So the corresponding sea level increase and the corresponding extreme weather events also included here. So this is by the IPCC. You can get the freely available report from the IPCC website. Whatever related to climate information, you can get it in the global level and you can refer that document. But now the IPCC, they revised the latest, in their latest report, that is the 6th assessment report, they revised this RCP to SSPs, that is shared socio-economic pathways, because in this they accounted the adaptation and mitigation capacity. So if we are going with different adaptation options, what will be the emission? Similar to the RCP. So here also you can see similar to the RCP, here also you can see different levels, emission levels starting from SSP 1 to SSP 5. I'm not going in details about this. Just for your information, I included this slide, shared socio-economic pathways. So in between, I just wanted to show you the human contribution, how much we are contributing. Then I will show you the different levels, increase in the temperature for these different SSPs. So here you see the x-axis denotes the time scale and the y-axis denotes the change in the temperature, magnitude in degrees Celsius. So you can see in the first session, the change in the temperature is a very gradual, that is the pre-industrialization period. But when you see after that, there is a tremendous increase in the temperature. So the blue highlighted session indicates the change in the temperature purely due to natural reason, and the other one indicates due to natural as well as a human influences. So you can compare these two and you can see how much is our contribution. Okay, so naturally the Earth's climate will change, but we are accelerating that rate of changes in the climatic parameters. So this is our contribution. This difference is our contribution. So similar to the different SSPs which I was mentioning, you can see the different levels. If the SSP is very low, you can see the corresponding increase in the temperature around 1.5 degrees. If it is intermediate, you can see it is less than 3 degrees, in between 2 and 3 degrees. If it is a very high SSP, then the temperature can go up to 5 degrees Celsius. That is the models. We have a global climate models because it's a very difficult to integrate all these informations into a single lecture session. We have a global climate models, so we can downscale or download the global climate model outputs, and using that we can get the such informations in the respective regions as well as in the global levels. So this is a briefing about the different SSPs and corresponding increase in the temperature, what we are expecting for the near future as well as the far future. This is from the IPCC, the 6th assessment report. You can refer to the 6th assessment report and you will get all the informations specifically to the region as well as to the global context. So this the first session about a briefing about climate change. So now I would like to brief about how this changing climate is influencing the agricultural production, because we know the temperature is changing. Throughout the presentation I was indicating how much the global temperature is going to change. If this is extreme emission scenario, we are expecting an increase of up to 5 degrees Celsius. So just remember, in crops production, crop growth stages, each crop they want a specific amount of growing degree days, or you can easily just you can say that preferable temperature is there. So if the temperature goes below or above, that definitely influence the growth stages and finally affect the production. So the first session we learned that the temperature is going to change. So whatever changes are happening with respect to the temperature or other the parameters like rainfall, this definitely influences the crop growth. So basically the temperature and precipitation, this influences the crop production mainly the yields, then different farming practices. The increase in the temperature leads to the outbreak of a new pest and diseases, their life cycle will enhance. So this definitely affects the crop production. If crop production is affected, this leads to the fluctuations in the crop prices, the production cost, and also in order to enhance the production, if we are depending on chemical fertilizers and other options, then definitely there will be environmental impacts, then finally to the farm revenues. This affects the livelihood as well as the food security, especially in the rural as well as urban communities. So we need a research and development focusing on this aspect. So here is the role of the climate smart agriculture, because with the utilization, the wise utilization of the very limited resources, how we can enhance the production, agricultural production. So that is the main focus of this climate smart agriculture. This is an integrated approach to manage the cropland, livestock, forest and fisheries, which addresses the interlinked challenges of food security and climate change. So these are the three pillars of a climate smart agriculture. First one, increased production, increased productivity. We need to meet the food demand gap. Then enhanced resilience. We know the extreme weather events, the climatic conditions. Based on that, we need to cope with the agricultural production. So need to improve or enhance the resilience in food production. And also we need to focus on the emissions, because the first slide itself we discussed about the emissions, which greenhouse gases, which trap the infrared radiations leading to the warming effect and increase in the temperature. So in the climate smart agriculture, we need increased production. We are aiming to increase the production, enhance the resilience and reduce the emissions. So these are the three pillars of climate smart agriculture. So then I just wanted to give you some of the climate smart agricultural practices which we can follow, so that we can align with the three pillars with the increased production, resilience, as well as a very low emission. So first, let's see some of the crop management practices which we can follow and we can recommend to the community, the farmer communities. There are plenty of research organizations are there. So they are working with developing the resistant seed varieties, plants, etc. So based on that, we need to give more attention on such area, the drought, heat, flood tolerant crop varieties. So that is one of the strategies to cope with the changing climatic conditions. Then crop diversification, for example, intercropping, crop rotation. Instead of depending on a single crop or monocrop, now we are recommending with the intercropping as well as a crop rotation. The advantage of intercropping is that if one crop is not giving a proper yield, the farmer will get an alternative option from the another crop, so that we can ensure they will be getting a continuous income or livelihood option from that particular farming system. So crop diversification, then direct seeded rice to reduce water use and methane emissions. We know the standing water leads to the emissions. So instead of that, instead of the initial nursery practices for the rice seedlings, if we can directly go with a direct seeding option, that can also wisely utilize the available water as well as we can reduce the emissions. Then of course cover crops and mulching to protect soil moisture and temperature. Then definitely the integrated nutrient management option along with the chemical fertilizers. If we integrate with other fertilizer options like organic manures, crop residues, leguminous, biofertilizers, etc., then definitely we can achieve this strategy, crop management practices. Then coming to water management. So definitely the traditional practices should be flooded irrigation or furrow irrigation. So instead of that, if we can convince the farmers, we can create awareness on farmers to use the technology with respect to drip as well as a sprinkler, definitely we can save water. Then another option is rainwater harvesting, because even in some of the parts, in southern parts of India also, even in Kerala, because I am from the southern part of India, Kerala, so we are getting plenty of rainfall during monsoon season, but immediately after that we are also facing water scarcity. So in order to overcome such issues, if we can go with the proper rainwater harvesting options, whatever rain we are getting through the monsoon season, if we can harvest and we can store it in in a proper way, we can wisely utilize for winter as well as summer cropping seasons. Then another option we can go with alternate wetting and drying, because paddy, the rice farming, it requires a plenty of water. So instead of that, if we can go with the alternate wetting and drying, once we are flooding, then we are keeping a level. So once the water drops below that level, then again we are starting with another set of flooding. So alternative wetting and drying practice. Then another option we can go for water management is scheduling irrigation based on soil moisture sensors. So we can deploy sensors in the field, and based on the feedback from the sensors, we can schedule the irrigation. This we will discuss in the upcoming slide also, because where we are discussing about the crop models, because models, they have a very good role in scheduling the irrigations. Then another option is contour bunding, check dams and farm ponds, so that we can conserve and store the water. At the same time, we can conserve the soil. In coming to soil and land management practices, we can go with a zero or minimum tillage. Then organic farming, soil fertility enhancement using compost, vermicompost, biochar. Biochar, this again another point I just wanted to highlight is that this is getting more attention nowadays, because we can wisely manage the crop residues to make use of biochar. Instead of directly burning the crop waste, we can make use of that crop waste and we can convert it into biochar. The advantage of this biochar is that the studies indicate that they can also hold the water for longer time. They slow release of the water as well as nutrients. So this is also another practice which we can follow. Then definitely green manuring with the leguminous crops. They will supplement with the nutrients and all to the nitrogen fixing and all, and improves the soil health. Then definitely agroforestry, because instead of going with only the agricultural crops, we can focus on the agroforestry, that is integrating with the trees, crops and livestock. Then livestock and fisheries, you can see from the picture, this is a fish. We can farm the fish as well as the rice for paddy from the same field, so that the farmer will get alternative income. The livelihood options also improved breed resistance to heat or diseases. This is particularly in case of livestock, and improved fodder system, because you know the livestock, they are another major contributors of methane gases. So if we can do something with the breeds as well as the food, the fodder systems, definitely there we can reduce the emissions, methane emissions to the atmosphere. Also manure management, this is also another major contributor. If we can wisely utilize for biogas production, there also we can reduce the emissions to the atmosphere. Then going with the renewable energy, solar powered irrigation pumps, low emission mechanizations, because this is also some of the companies, tractor and other developing companies, they are planning with the batteries and all instead of a diesel fuel machines, how we can reduce the emissions. So this is also another area where currently the research is going on. Then definitely another important aspect in climate smart agriculture is the weather-based agro advisory system. If we can give a proper information in advance, the decision makers as well as the farmers, they can develop a suitable plan to avoid the impact of the climate change. And also crop insurance and safety nets. This is also another important aspect, because the frequency of the disasters, it's increasing. So this is also another important aspect. So now the insurance companies, they are also depending on the agricultural experts as well as in order to assess the risk associated with the climate change on crop production. So based on that, they can also fix their plans. Then community-based seed bank, that is also another option we can support with the farmer community, because if they get very good quality seeds, short duration seeds, and stress resilient seeds, they can go with this option. Then early warning systems for pest, droughts and floods as the temperature increases, because studies indicating that if there is an increase in temperature from 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, this doubles the life cycle of the pest. So that means you can imagine how severely this impact the agricultural production. So there are the research it's going on with AI as well as IoT based platforms on the early warning systems for pest and as well as the other extreme weather events. Then we need to make use of farmer producer organizations, the like stakeholder engagements. What is the issue with the farmer system? We can discuss with the other next level of stakeholders. So the engagement of stakeholders, that will also give a solution, sustainable or viable solutions to proceed with the climate smart agriculture. Then capacity building, that is another major area where we need to focus, the farmers as well as other stakeholders. Then women and youth empowerment in climate smart practices. So these are some of the practices which we can follow under this climate smart agriculture. So how this is tackling the climate change is just a briefing in a single slide, how this climate smart agriculture is overcoming the impact of climate change. We know climate change, rising temperature, rainfall variability and drought, extreme weather events, pest, agricultural greenhouse gas emissions. So through climate smart agriculture, what we are trying to do is, in order to overcome the rising temperature, we are introducing with the heat tolerant varieties, crop varieties. Rainfall variability and drought, promote water saving irrigation techniques like a drip and sprinkler, rainwater harvesting. Extreme weather events, resilient cropping systems, agroforestry and crop insurance. Then integrated pest management and early warning systems for pests and diseases, so thereby we can overcome. Similarly, in climate smart agriculture, we are trying to practice reduced tillage or zero tillage or minimum tillage, then optimized fertilizer use, and depending more on renewable energy sources will reduce the emissions. So this is the overview about the different climate smart agricultural practices and thereby how we are overcoming the impact of climate change. So just for your information, because of whatever I presented, we need to support with relevant studies or literature, existing literature. So for that, in this slide, you can see some of the studies on climate smart agriculture in the international context, and these climate smart agricultural practices, how they impacted the society in terms of their income generation and food production, as well as reductions in emissions, as well as reductions in the water usage. So these are the published literature. So some of the studies in India, then African countries, Bangladesh, Nigeria. So just included some because we don't have enough time to discuss in the global level all the studies, but just to give a quantitative wise information how this climate smart agriculture affects our system or affects the community positively. So you can see the third column. In each case, you can see how this improved the efficiency of the system by integrating the climate smart agriculture. So this is in the global level context. So here I just wanted to give some examples from our university, because Amrita, we have a living lab program. So living lab programs means we are closely working with different rural communities across India, around 2000 plus communities across India. So in each community, we are closely working with the different thematic areas in aligning with the sustainable development goals, like we are focusing on education, agriculture, climate climate risk, water and sanitation, gender equality, all the thematic areas are there. So here I just wanted to showcase some of the initiatives which we conducted in our rural communities through the Living Love program, successful case studies, because whatever I presented in the previous slide, it's in the global context. So now I just wanted to showcase some of our successful stories for you. So our students, they are working in communities, and maybe this is just an initiative, maybe as part of our future collaboration, maybe the students exchange programs and all. Probably some of you can also visit the university and you can closely work with some of the communities across India that is adopted through the university. So here you can see the main purpose in working with the rural communities is that we will identify the strength of the community as well as the weakness of the community. Then we will try to identify a sustainable solution in each of the thematic area by considering their opinion also. That means we are considering their traditional and local knowledge. Along with that, we are integrating the technology and we are making as a climate resilient system. So here you can see the drip irrigation initiative in one of the villages in India, and you can see the women members, they are actively participating in laying out a drip irrigation as well as the composting systems. So now actually they are successfully doing this themselves. Initially our team members, they were working with them. You can see the energy transition using the solar energy system for the irrigation. Then composting unit along with the chemical fertilizers. Now they are equipped with utilizing this composting like a vermicompost, manures, etc. as part of the climate smart agriculture. And another picture I just wanted to share is waste to wealth. We know the crop residue, the paddy straw, that goes to waste. So instead of making it into a waste, the people now they are making use of to produce or to farm the mushrooms. We know this is a very rich in protein. Now they are getting very good livelihood option from this, and also they are exporting to the nearest villages and communities. So these are some of the successful stories in climate smart practices. There are more enough, maybe in the upcoming series, like as part of our collaboration, we can discuss in detail. So now coming back again to the climate smart agriculture, because we know in one slide I included some quantitative data for you, how much it is efficient compared to the conventional or traditional system. But still people or farmers, they are not familiar with this, or they are not adopting. So what are the challenges in adopting these climate smart agricultural practices? So here just listed out some points. Most important is the awareness. We need to create awareness among the community farmers. Then initial investment cost. Probably here we need to take the support from the government system, the schemes and policies, so thereby they can start initially and then they can go. But here also again we need to create awareness on different schemes available from the government, because the rural areas, the farmers probably they are not familiar with the available schemes to improve the agricultural production. Then another challenge can be weak institutional coordination across sectors. Then policy support is required. Then limited access to climate smart technologies and digital tools. Then localized climate data, that is another area. Maybe in the upcoming slide I will discuss you, because when we discuss about a crop model, the most important input which we require is the data, climate data. So this is another point which the challenge which the researchers they are facing, the availability of primary data for modeling and other decision making purposes. Then limited availability of stress tolerant seeds and all, because we are doing research, but at the same time we need to ensure that this should be available to the local community. Then again, resistance to change and gender inequality issues. uncertainty in climate patterns and extreme weather events, then weak market access for climate smart produce and value chain. So these are some of the challenges we are facing in adopting the climate smart agricultural practices. So next, I just wanted to introduce about our modeling system, the role of crop models in climate smart agriculture. So the challenges we listed here. So if we adopt or if we go with the models, crop models, maybe some of the points which we listed in this slide can be overcome. We can overcome these challenges, can be overcome by using this crop model. So there is the role of the crop models in climate smart agriculture. So how they are efficient? They are efficient. The crop models, they can be make use in predicting the crop yields in different scenarios. In one of these slides, I just mentioned the different emission scenarios like a representative concentration pathways as well as the shared socio-economic pathways. So based on the different emission scenario, we can predict the crop production using a crop model. Then we can assess the climate risk. If drought situation, then how this is going to affect the farming system, if flood or heat stress. So all these we can do using a crop model. Then we can design adaptation strategies based upon the system. We can adjust the sowing date. If we shift the planting date or sowing date from 1st of June to maybe to 1st of July, what can happen? So actually we know the field experiments in agriculture, the main constraint is we need to get a primary set of data through field experiments. Field experiment is very time consuming as well as laborious. So for all these cases, if we want to do field experiments, it's very hectic. So the advantage of using crop model is that instead of directly going into the field, we can mimic the same situation in the models using mathematical equations. So based on that, this will mimic the real situation and will give you the output. So instead of directly going into the field, you can do all the analysis using a crop model, provided the input data or input information you are providing should be accurate. If there is any uncertainty associated with the input parameter, definitely this can affect the output also. Okay. Then again, optimizing the resources, the crop model. By using the crop model, we can optimize the resources, so basically the water, fertilizer, and land use efficiency, and enable precision farming through site-specific decision making, integrate with the climate and economic models for comprehensive assessment. So these all are some of the advantages in using a crop model. So here, as part of today's session, I will be focusing on one crop model. Just do a trial run for your understanding, and then we will open for the discussion. Then maybe because this is just a beginning, maybe in the upcoming sessions and all, we can continue with the different type of crop models, because the time constraint, it's a very limited. I won't be able to cover all aspects under this crop modeling. So here are some of the crop models I just wanted to present in front of you, because these all crop models are freely available. You can just Google it and you can get the software. You can install it in your laptop. There is no need for any high computational power to use these crop models. You can directly install in your desktop or laptop and you can use that. So this is just remember, these are some. There are many crop models available internationally. So these are some of the freely available platforms, and you can easily get access to these models. This is a decision support system for agro-technology transfer, DSAT model. Then this is aqua crop model, crop water productivity, And yield response model, with this decision support model, you can generate different scenarios based upon the different emission situations. Based on that, you can test how the crop yield will be. All this you can do in this DSAT model. Similarly, this aqua crop model, this is developed by FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. This is again focusing on the crop water as well as the production. So the advantage in using a model is that you can change the input parameters. You can change if the rainfall or temperature is this much, what will be the crop yield? If the temperature decreased by 0.5 degrees Celsius, what will be the crop yield? So all this you can do as a trial and error in use through a crop model. Then crop VAT, this is a very simple model to estimate the crop water requirement. So this is also developed by Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. Then another crop model, World Food Studies model, developed by Wageningen University, Netherlands. So this is to predict or simulate the crop yield production, how much yield. So you will get it from that model. Then compared to this listed 4 models, this is a bit different because this is a maximum entropy model, Maxent model. This model will give you the spatial representation in which are the areas highly suitable for a particular crop or particular species. Okay, so this will give you, if you are interested to use this model will give you information. For example, if you are testing for a rice crop, then this model will give you which are the areas in Indonesia or which are the areas in India highly suitable for the production of the rice crop, or which are the areas going to highly affected because of the increase in the temperature. So this is a maximum entropy model. All the other models will give you the crop yield. There are many other models available. You can just see and based upon the user purpose and user purpose, we can select whatever model we wanted. For all these models, we need to provide a set of input parameters. Based on that, the model will mimic the situation and will give you the output. The output can be crop water requirement, it can be crop yield. So based upon the purpose of our research work, you can go with any of these models. Okay, so as part of today's session, I just wanted to give a briefing about a quick briefing about the model crop VAT. This is very simple model. You are agricultural engineering students and now in the second year. So if you want to do some short-term projects or mini projects as part of your coursework or your curriculum, maybe you can go with any of these models and you can do it. So this is a crop VAT model. I just wanted to give you an overview. So similar to any other models, in our crop models also, we need to provide inputs. So these are the input parameters required for the crop VAT model: the soil information, the crop information, and the weather or climate information. Once you inject or input all these informations into the model will give you when and how much to irrigate. That means this crop VAT model is used to schedule the irrigation for a particular crop, for a particular cropping season. Okay, because we know the farmers, if they are not familiar with the climate smart practices, definitely they will be going with their own practices and they will be wasting huge amount of water. But if we can integrate a model into their farming system and make it as a climate smart system, definitely the farmer will get an information when to irrigate and how much to irrigate. Thereby we can save huge amount of water. So this is the main purpose of this model, crop VAT model, that is the crop water requirement model, which is developed by Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. So just I wanted to give a briefing about how the model works or how the model gives you when and how much to irrigate is. I'm sure your background is agricultural engineering, so you are familiar with the terms, terminologies, field capacity, permanent wilting point, available water, soil moisture, etc. So just focus on this graph. The x-axis denotes the days. X-axis denotes days. That means starting from planting to the crop maturity. That means you can call this as a cropping season. And y-axis denotes the soil moisture, SM soil moisture. Okay, so here you can see the maximum amount of water that the soil can retain against gravity is the field capacity. So let's assume this is the field capacity for this particular case. And the PWP, that is the permanent wilting point, that means the moisture below which once the soil moisture falls to this level, the plant wilt permanently. That's why we call it as a permanent wilting point. So our purpose is that we don't need to allow the water to go beyond this level. Before that, we need to give the irrigation. Okay, so this is the field capacity line. This is the permanent wilting point line. Whatever the amount of moisture or water available in between field capacity and permanent wilting point, we can call it as available water. Okay, so what we can do is one option, as day continues, starting from planting, as the time passes, the soil moisture level from field capacity, gradually this drops down and then it reaches to one option, it reaches to the permanent wilting point. Once it reaches to permanent wilting point, we need to irrigate. Again, we are refilling back to field capacity. So this again, as time passes, the soil moisture falls, again reaches to the lowest threshold, that is permanent wilting point. We need to again irrigate and we need to fill it back to field capacity. So this continues till the entire cropping season. Okay, so the model, CropVat model will give you this information. That means when to irrigate. This is the, let's assume this is the first we need to give irrigation. This is the second time we need to irrigation. So this information you will directly get it from the model once you provide all the input information. Okay, and how much amount you need to provide also will get it from the crop model. So when to irrigate and how much to irrigate, these two information you will get it from the crop model. Once these answers are ready, then your irrigation schedule is ready for a particular crop for that particular cropping season. Okay. Again, another point I just wanted to highlight is that in all the crops, it's very difficult to go till the permanent wilting point, because some crops, they are very like they cannot tolerant to this minor level of stresses also, the water stresses. So based upon the crop, which type of crop, we need to fix the lower threshold. Okay, we cannot always keep the lower threshold as the permanent wilting point. Some cases we need to fix a lower threshold in this line. This line means the amount of water which is available, that is about 80 to 75 to 80% of the available water. We call it as readily available water. So once the soil moisture falls from field capacity to the lowest level of the readily available moisture, we need to irrigate. So we cannot wait complete soil moisture depletes and it reaches to permanent wilting point. We cannot wait, because depending on the crop, this affects the crop growth and production. So usually what we do is about 75 to 80% of the available water depletes. That is the lowermost level of the readily available moisture. Then we give the irrigation. That means you can see this blue line. Once the moisture falls to this point, we need to irrigate back to field capacity. Then again, as the time passes, if there is no rainfall, then it reaches to this lowest level, we need to irrigate back. So this threshold basically depends upon, maybe this is the lowest level of the readily available moisture, maybe 50% of readily available moisture depletes, we need to irrigate. So this all depends upon the crop. Based on the type of the crop, this will changes. So this is the working of the crop model, and the model will give you when to irrigate and how much to irrigate. So I just wanted to run the model for a set of input parameters for your information, and then we can wind up this session. So just a second. So just for your understanding, I can show you the platform. You can just Google it, the CropVat model. Then you will be directing to this website, Food and Agriculture Organizations by the United Nations. So here you can see a series of, you can clearly see the screen, right?
Sorry, Dr. Raji.
Yeah,
We
okay.
cannot see the.
Yeah,
We
thank
cannot
you.
see the screen.
Oh, fine. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, I think now the model page is visible for you. So this is the page where you can get the software for the CropVat model. So this is the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization website, the platform where you can get this model free of cost. So in this side, you can see a set of models. It's not only CropVat, you can see a set of models available here. We can just experiment based upon your research purpose and all. So this CropVat you can see here. So once you click the CropVat, that will be directing to get the software as well as the manual. You can download the CropVat software, that is the version 8. You can download and you can install it. Okay. So once you install it, again, I think I need to stop sharing and I need to reshare the other screen. Yeah. Okay, so once you install it, you can get the model, CropVat model, and the graphical user interface looks like this. So just a second, I will keep this. Okay. Okay, so this is the graphical user interface of this CropVat model. So in the top side, you can see set of options available here: file, edit, calculations, charts, settings, windows. So some options are available here. And this side, the left side, you can see climate, rain, crop, soil, and also some other informations are also available that I won't.
Sorry, Dr. Raji. We cannot see the screen.
Okay, just a second. Give me a second. I will share it again. How about now?
Okay, now it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, fine. So this is the graphical user interface of that model, CropVat model. So in this model, the left side you can see climate, rain, crop, soil, CWR, crop water requirement. CWR is the crop water requirement. Then schedule is there, crop pattern is there, and scheme is also there. But first we can see this climate, rain, crop, and soil, because these are the input parameters required for the crop model: climate data, rainfall data, then crop information and soil information. Once you complete this information, then the model will give you the crop water requirement and schedule. Like we discussed in the previous slide, the model will give you the schedule when to irrigate and how much to irrigate. So getting data, climate data is one of the constraints. So if you are not having primary set of climate data, maybe for a trial and error purpose, I recommend to use a secondary data which is available. That is different platforms are there. The NASA power data, freely available platforms are there. You can depend on such platforms. Mark-Sim is there. Then ClimVat is another model which is developed by FAO in order to support this crop VAT model. So there are supplementary models and options are available to get climate data for the crop VAT model. So I just wanted to show one by one. The climate data means basically the minimum temperature, maximum temperature, because these are the important climatic parameters influencing the crop growth and crop production. So all this information we need to provide: minimum and maximum temperature, humidity, wind speed and sunshine. So only the white highlighted portions you need to enter the data. The yellow highlighted, the model will generate, the model will calculate based on the data which you are providing in this area. Okay. And also you need to provide monthly information. Usually in other case of crop models, we need to give a daily set of data. But the main advantage of this crop VAT is that there is no need for providing daily set of information. You can provide the monthly mean data. So here you can provide the country information, station information, station information, like a latitude, longitude, all the informations you can provide. So this is one input which is required for the crop model, along with the climate rainfall data. That is another set of input we need to provide. So this is again monthly information you need to provide. Once you provide this rainfall data, the model will calculate the effective rainfall, because this is required to estimate the irrigation scheduling, whatever the rainfall amount which is useful for the crop, that the model will calculate. For effective rainfall calculation method, there are set of options available within the model. Inbuilt options are available. Whichever options we want, we can go to the settings and we can change the options. Inbuilt option is USDA soil conservation method to estimate the effective rainfall. You can go to the settings and you can edit and you can customize it based on your requirement. Okay, so these are the climate information required for the model. Then the crop information required for the model. So if you are going with a rice crop, then you need to provide the name here when you are planning to plant that particular crop. Then you need to enter some of the crop informations like crop coefficient for different stages, like the initial set of period, the value will be differ. So the development stage, mid-season, late season. So based upon the stage, growing stage, you need to enter the crop informations like a crop coefficient, rooting depth, depletion fraction, yield response fraction, crop height. These are the informations required to enter. Then coming to the last input parameter, that is the soil information. So in soil information, you need to enter the total available soil moisture, that you can estimate the field capacity and the wilting point from the lab. You can collect a soil sample and you can test it. From that, you can estimate the available moisture. Then again another parameter, infiltration, maximum rooting depth allowable in that particular soil, initial soil moisture, initial available soil moisture. So this will estimate the initial available soil moisture. So these are the input parameters. This is the simplest crop model which you can go with us, because since you are BTech second year students, so the input parameters required for this model are climate, rain, crop and soil. So now now the biggest concern probably in your mind is from where you get this information. Okay, one option, you can get such information from research institute, respective crop, you can get it from such research institutions, and the soil information for a particular region, you can get it from that institutions and all. That is the one option. Second option, you can go with your own field experiments, you can generate the data, then later you can input it. Okay, but these are practically difficult. The first option you can easily do, you can approach some research institutions, you can get the information. But what I recommend is that as a beginner, if you want to test this model for your own, then you can depend on the data available in the FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization. There you can get, once you search the data, just a second, I can stop sharing and I can show you the screen. I think you cannot see the screen, just a second. Okay. Okay, I think now you can see the screen. So you can go to this page, the Food and Agricultural Organization, Chapter 6, the evapotranspiration, crop evapotranspiration, single crop coefficient. Once you click this link, this will direct to a page, FAO page. There, whatever information required for the crop model, you will get it related to the crops. See, the different set of crops, different stages like initial, development, mid, late, then all the information, whatever the input information required for a crop, you can get it from this platform. So for a beginner, I recommend you to visit this page, get the information, you can input it into the crop model, you can make a trial run. Okay, so this is one option you can go with. Again, I think I need to share back to the screen. Okay. Okay, so just now I wanted to just input some sample data and just to show you how the model runs. So for climate data, the model, it already has a set of inbuilt data. I am using that data, or I can give the region based or location specific data. But currently for this purpose, I am using some inbuilt data which is available with the model. So I am going to click this climate, then I'm going to open the data, climate data, which is already available. This is a sample. Just remember, this is a sample set of data. I'm going to use it for this tutorial session. So once you enter this monthly data, the remaining information, the model will automatically calculate this radiation in energy as well as the reference evapotranspiration. So now the first input parameter is entered. So second is the rainfall data. Again, I am going to depend on the inbuilt data within the model. I'm just randomly selecting one such data for this purpose. So this input is also completed. So now going for crop data. So one option, I can go back to the FAO website and I can enter individual data separately. Second option, I can go with the field experiment data with the institutions or my own department or my experiment information I can provide. So for this purpose, what I am going to do is I am depending on the existing data within this platform. So here you can see plenty of data, it's available, inbuilt data available with this model. So I'm just going to select any one, just selecting one crop information. So once I clicked all the data, it's entered automatically because this is inbuilt data. Similarly for soil also, I'm going to use the existing data just for this trial run. purpose. So see, all the input data is now ready. So now the model, once you click this CWR option, that is the crop water requirement option, the model will give you the information when to irrigate and how much to irrigate, total amount of rain, all full information you will get it. So you can see the starting in June, because the date which I provided is today's date. So starting in June and the harvesting in November. So the second column you can see the decade, that is every 10 days period they are providing the information. So different crop parameters are there. Then this is the column which you are interested, because the irrigation requirement and the total amount of water which you need to provide. Maybe if the farmer is using more amount of water, or maybe the farmer is giving the water irrespective of the crop growth stages. So at this point, he or she is wasting the water, as well as this is affecting the crop growth. But if you have such a decision-making platform, then you can transfer this information to the farmer or to the community. They can wisely plan and they can enhance the agricultural production. So this is the role of a crop model in decision making, to support the decision makers. So this is how the model runs. So this is the very basics information which you get it from the crop model. But if you want some advanced information and all, you can go with the cropping, because here we used only single crop. Instead of that, if you want to use some multiple crops, you can go with the crop pattern schemes and all. But this is just a trial as part of our today's lecture session. So this is enough for a beginner to use this crop model, crop wet model. So with this, yeah. So with this, I'm just opening this platform for any discussions or any questions from your side, you can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Raji, for your presentations. That information that is informative and insightful presentation from you. So now we will begin the Q&A sessions. So if any students want to ask the questions to Dr. Raji, you can type your question to the chat box, or you can raise your hands and ask your questions. Anyone student want to ask the questions to Dr. Raji? Okay. Yeah, you can turn on your mic and ask your question directly to Dr. Raji.
So, I would like to ask regarding the direct rice seeding method that is shown. And it is said that direct rice seeding can decrease water consumption and is generally more environmental friendly environmental friendly ways to plant rice. And as we know, rice is a very water consuming plant. So how does it exactly reduce water consumption in rice?
Yeah. Yeah, because that is the very important staple food across the globe. So in direct seeding rice farming practice, what we are intending is that we can avoid the initial step of a nursery, raising the seedlings, and initial set of the practices which we do as a separate nursery. As at the same time, we can avoid the labors also, because once we are going with the separate nursery, from there we need to keep a set of standing water, then we need to wait for the particular period of time. Once the seedlings are ready, from there we need to transport to another location, then there we need to start the proper planting. So once we go with the direct seedling, there is no need to transplant that particular seedlings from one location to another location. At the same time, we don't need to waste the standing water which we utilize to develop or raise that particular nursery. We can directly make use of in the direct field where we are planning to practice it. So that is one way to reduce or wisely utilize the available water. At the same time, the transportation, we can reduce the emissions, and also the labor cost. There also we can do lots of reductions by adopting this direct seeded farming.
Okay, is that answer your questions? Do you have any following questions?
No, I think so. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any question from the students? No? Maybe I say your student ID number to ask the questions to Dr. Raji. So they are all smiles, Doctor.
Maybe they are tired or they are bored.
No, actually, they already have this kind of the material in the other course in our departments about the Penman and Moit equations to calculate the evapotranspiration rate. Yeah. So, but it's more advanced because Dr. Raji also introduced us about the software that can help you to calculate the Penman and Monit equations, because they do the calculations by hand.
Oh, okay.
So many steps to calculate the Penman and Monit equation. So maybe in the future we can introduce this kind of software also to the students here. Thank you very much for your information, Dr. Raji. So for me, actually, I'm also interested about the CSA. So CSA is the concept that maybe the introduced us many years ago, but you mentioned also about some challenges that this kind of concept cannot be implemented as soon as possible. I want to know, and also wondering, how about in India? The CSA is easy to implement, CSA practice, and if that difficult, I want to know maybe there is suggestions or tips that maybe overcome that. Yeah, because we face the same difficulties in Indonesia also.
Yeah, because I can answer you very clearly to this question, because we are working with the communities, around 2,000 plus communities across India. So one of the main challenges is that the farmers, they are not aware about these climate smart practices. And another concern is that once we are trying to convince them, they want to directly see how much it is going to directly affect their income, because everyone is directly looking into the earnings or income which they are getting back. So if we adopt a drip system or sprinkler system, how much it is going to change their livelihood? That is the biggest concern the people they are asking. asking. So one thing what we are trying to do is, along with the awareness sessions in each community, we are taking a sample plot, sample field. So there we are doing the experiments with the technology adoption or the nature-based solutions and all. For 1 or 2 seasons, we are doing from our sides, and we'll show them how the yield, crop yield is changing with respect to their field. So they can directly see the change in the experimental field. Once they directly see the changes, then they are easy to convince and they can proceed. So this is the way in which we are trying in our communities.
Yeah, I'm totally agree, Dr. Raji, because the farmer wants to see the result first before they want to
Adopt it.
use the practice to their
Exactly.
field. Yeah,
Exactly.
the same things happen in Indonesia also. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we have to make an example that our practice, CSA practice is doable in their field.
Their field, yeah.
Yeah.
Then probably I think another aspect where we are now focusing is on engaging different stakeholders, because what the farmers they are considering won't be directly reaching to the higher levels, the government officials and all. So we are making the interactive sessions with the different stakeholders, starting from community level to the higher government officials. So thereby supporting with the new schemes and policy frames, etc. So that area is also, in that way also we are trying to integrate with how we can help the community in adopting the climate smart agriculture, because initial cost is the main challenge, so if they get some funding or schemes from the government side, they can easily start. Once they establish, I think then they can easily continue with the same system. So that is another area where we can focus.
Okay, maybe is there any questions from students? Maybe from the online participations from the other lecturer, maybe Dr. Yusuf or maybe Dr. Aik. Oh, maybe Professor Agus.
Dr. Indrawan, thank you very much, but I'm okay. I will ask the question later. Okay.
Okay. Dr. Agus, thank you. Yeah, maybe one more question from me, Dr. Raji, if you don't mind. Okay, so in the CSA practice, you mentioned about the pest management, irrigations, and so on. That's one of the plant production systems, like indoor vertical farming. Is that one of the type of the CSA?
Which is the integrated pest management?
Yeah, in indoor vertical farming system. Yeah. Yeah. So we know that in the plant production system, we have the conventional, which is we cultivate directly to the field. And then the second, we have greenhouses, like a semi-closed production system. And we have another production system, which is indoor. So very close system. So in your point of view, is that indoor vertical farming system is one of the CSA practices?
Yeah.
Yes.
Integrated farming
Okay.
system. Yes. Because integrated farming system means this will incorporate the agriculture, agroforestry, livestock, and all things together. That's what we are expecting in integrated system.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Raji. And one last questions, maybe uh, maybe from student point of view. Uh, in the university, I would like to ask about the opportunity for the students, especially our students who wants to continue their study as a master or maybe short visit students. Is there any possibility for that,
Yeah,
Dr.
sure,
Raji?
definitely, definitely. Because I think we are having another set of meeting probably tomorrow. I'm not sure about that with the team members.
Oh,
No?
really?
Yeah, I know, I'm not
Okay.
sure. Then probably there we can discuss. But another opportunity I just wanted to discuss is that we do take internship students. So probably the student exchange we can initiate. Similarly, we are offering the PhD, fully funded PhD E4 under E4 Life program. The name is E4 Life. So this is a
Free
fully
for life program.
yeah, fully funded program without any tuition fee. This is completely waived. So the main purpose of this program is that, like I discussed in this presentation, the student will be assigned each community based on their research area. So they will be closely working with community. They will be identifying a sustainable solution. If they are facing with the water, then they will be working with the water. If it's agriculture, then agriculture. So like that, they will be working. So currently we have 150 plus students and from Africa, Brazil, and Iran, and so many places representatives are there. So if students are interested to join this year, the application is open. So probably you can direct some of your students if they are interested, they can apply.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
How about the Indonesian students so far in your university? Is there any Indonesian students?
In my department, specifically in my department, no students, but across the university, I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Because this is a huge university with now, I think, 10 campuses across India with the different specializations. So, yeah, we are based in Kerala, southern part of India.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Raji, for your presentations. And, and for your lecture, appreciation, we give you certificate of appreciation from the School of Life Science Technology. So I'm sorry it's not signed yet by the new dean because we officially have the new dean today. So Dr. Indra will official work tomorrow. So maybe after this, I will send this letter, Dr. Raji.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. and I think that's all, Dr. Raji, for
Yeah.
today's guest lecture.
Yeah.
And give
Yeah, just one
yes.
point I wanted to discuss at this point because this is not related to the lecture session. In our school, we are organizing an international conference, which is in 29 August
Oh, okay.
29. Yeah, August to 1st of September. So probably some of your team members they can join us and visit directly so we can have a direct meeting to go proceed further. As part of this conference, we can have a direct meeting like a physical if some of your colleagues or you can join us. I will share you the details, the conference details and all.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for the information, Dr. Raji, about the conference. And I think we hope today's session has enriched our understanding about the climate smart practice and crop modeling. One of the examples is irrigation modeling in agriculture. So before I end this guest lecture, don't forget for the all of the students to complete the attendance form, and I will close these sessions. We look forward to see you again in the ITB Talk series. Okay, thank you and have a wonderful day, Dr. Raji.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm Regina. I'm in charge of education. So, on behalf of Amrita University, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to Bangtang Institute of Technology for inviting Dr. Raji to deliver today's talk on climate smart agriculture and crop modeling. Thank you
welcome.
once again for your warm hospitality and excellent coordination. And we also look forward for more enriching interaction in future. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So big applause to Dr. Raji for her presentations today. And once again, thank you very much, Dr. Raji, for your time to share your knowledge and experience in the climate smart agriculture practice. We learned a lot, and I hope we can continue these collaborations in the future. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Raji.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.